Hello Internet, it is monster movie time with Q the Winged Serpent. Q stands for Quetzalcoatl, the Aztec serpent god who is terrorizing New York in this 1982 monster movie. I've seen it once, years and years ago. I remember it being an absolute blast, so I'm just going to get stuck right in, and hopefully I'll be coming back to tell you it's as much fun or even more fun than I remember it being. Okay, it's just finished. This is a B movie through and through, and the B stands for bloody good fun. Look at those two nice covers from the DVD slip. What can we say about a movie that's about a resurrected Aztec serpent god? Well, within the first 7 minutes of the movie, you have window cleaner about 40 stories up outside a skyscraper gets decapitated. The police come across a flayed human corpse in a hotel room, and a topless rooftop sunbather gets snatched by a lizard, and her blood rains down on the New York pedestrians below. So the film sets its stall out brashly and boldly right at the start. Then it kind of settles down into its story, and as you might expect with a monster movie, a low budget monster movie, Q is implied through helicopter shots with the sound of wings over it or its shadow across the buildings, rather than seen very much. Q is or Quetzalcoatl, or Quetzalcoatl as they pronounce it in the film. I don't know whether a white Englishman's pronunciation of an Aztec god is any better than David Carradine's, but Quetzalcoatl or Quetzalcoatl is a throwback to the 1950s monster movies. We're talking stop motion here, and she's no, because Q is a she, because she's laid an egg. Q is no Ray Harryhausen creation here, but she's hokey, good fun. She's a monster from the golden age of monster movies. Really, think King Kong, think giant squids attacking. Was it the Golden Gate Bridge? I don't know. Anyway, she's a hell of a lot of fun. Meanwhile, our cops, David Carradine, Bill from Kill Bill, or if you're from my generation, Kang from Kung Fu, and Richard Roundtree, who for any generation is fucking Shaft, are investigating a series of ritualistic murders. One guy's had all his skin removed, one guy's had his heart removed, but these people are coming from all over the country, seemingly willingly going to their deaths, and they question a guy at the Natural History Museum, and it seems that these ritual sacrifices are connected to the old Aztec religion. So that's where David Carradine starts to think that there may be some connection with that and the other bizarre murders: headless window cleaner, topless sunbathers, workmen, and the slow and increasing sightings of what seem to be perhaps a large flying creature in the city. It always aligns itself with the sun, so that anyone who looks up sort of gets blinded by the sun. So at first these are sort of unsubstantiated rumours, and then they build in momentum until it reaches a point where the city can't ignore the fact that they've got a giant flying fucking monster there. I suppose there's also a nice little commentary there maybe about how many of us who live in a big city ever actually look up. The film as a whole, though, lives and dies by two things. One, its monster, and two, Michael Moriarty giving the most wonderful, quirky, twitchy performance. The anti-hero of our movie is a low-level, small-time crook, ex-junkie who I guess if you want to pitch him, he's somewhere between Rizzo Ratso in Midnight Cowboy and Verbal Kint in The Usual Suspects. So you have this bizarre, as I say, twitchy, not showy, not latter day Al Pacino, hooah, showy performance, but a very particular performance, let's call it that, from Michael Moriarty, and your enjoyment of the film will either live or die by the creature and Michael Moriarty. He is just a blast to watch here. He seems to be improvising most of his lines, and if you get on with him, you're gonna fucking love this movie. There's a real wry sense of humour all the way through it. David Carradine has the thankless task in the movie as the cop who makes a connection between ritual slayings and the raising of an ancient Aztec god, and having to give all the exposition as though he believes it. I feel a little sorry for him, because everyone else is able to have such a good time in this movie. But these essentially are our protagonists, and Michael Moriarty's character finds out where Q is nesting, and essentially doesn't quite hold the city to ransom, but he's been arrested, and he's looking to go down for quite a number of years. So he wants a payout from the city. He thinks he's been owed, so he strikes a deal with the city for immunity and a big payday in return for the location of the creature. Meantime, there are the ritualistic killings going on. It all just barrels along. It's really good fun. It's B-movie fare. I'm not going to say this is high art, but it's a blast. It's a roller coaster. It's a good fun popcorn movie, I guess, or a 4-pack movie. If you were going to, I was thinking while I was watching this, if you were going to double feature it with someone, I'd actually love to double feature this with Alligator, which I reviewed further down. Not many people have seen that review of it. Check it out as well. And if you haven't seen either this or Alligator, get both of them. Get some beers and some friends in. Smoke them if you got them. And they're both about 90 minutes long, so 3 hours of good fun, having a laugh, getting a little bit buzzed, and laughing with the movies rather than at them. The movie's written, produced and directed by Larry Cohen, and as he says very clearly in the first couple of minutes of the commentary track that I've just started listening to, the reason this movie came about is because he got fired off a movie he was working on and had paid for his hotel room. So he came up with the script for this movie in about 6 days, bumped into Michael Moriarty in a restaurant and got him on board. Phoned up David Carradine, who was a friend, got him on board without Carradine ever reading the script. Candy Clark, who's the main female in this, who I've seen before in The Man Who Fell to Earth with David Bowie. She was working off Broadway on something, so he called her up, and he went from getting fired to rolling on this movie within a week, which is, it goes towards some of the energy of this movie. I think I'm right in saying that some of the posters for the movie got created before they'd even done the monster effects, which were obviously added afterwards, back when they still didn't quite know what the monster looked like. I'm going to ramble now, so I'll probably cut this one really, really short, because there isn't that much to say about it. It's either going to be something you love or not. It's a film about a guy committing Aztec ritual sacrifices to resurrect an ancient god, who then munches on the residents of New York. It's brilliant and rubbish, but brilliant rubbish.